There it is. Positive.
Starts right now.
Affirmative. I agree. Thank you so much. Listen, we'll get you back. You, of course, have the turnstile invitation to Bathroom Moments, which means the door is always open for you. And it is open for you. If you or someone you know has a riveting story, or you just want to say something that can promote change in this world in a better way, get at me and let's get you here. Get you on the air sharing your story like Maureen Flatley did today. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another great guest. And don't forget, mark your calendars for next Monday, the 13th, when young Demetrius will be back with all that he has been doing and his journey to India. Get out there today and do what we do. We leave every person in every situation just a little bit better than the way we found it. Do that. On top of the first thing is what? Go to the mirror first thing in the morning. Look at it. Remember that you are the blessing. Once you see the blessing, you can go out and be the blessing. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for another installment of Bathroom. Bye, Mo.
Bye, honey.
Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator. We have Loretta Tayar with us today. How you doing, Loretta?
I'm well, thank you, Cedric. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. You seem to be talking to me from your kitchen. Where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. Well, and were you always in Brooklyn?
Yes, I grew up in Brooklyn. I lived, my parents have owned their house in Bay Ridge forever. They got it when I was 3 months old. And as you can see, I'm super old. So that's a long time. And I moved out on my own. I moved to another section of Brooklyn. But then I wound up coming back to my parents' house to take care of my mother who has Alzheimer's disease. So I have, we used to spend summers in New Jersey, but for the most part, I've lived here, pretty much the bulk of my life.
And what was life like for you growing up in Brooklyn? Talk about a regular childhood day in Brooklyn. Well, paint that picture for those of us who may have never been to Brooklyn before.
Okay, so Brooklyn is an extremely diverse place, but not where I grew up. I grew up in a very in the 70s it started to get a little bit more diverse. I'm half Syrian, half German. So the Syrian side of me, the Arabic side, was like, not many people had seen too many Arabs in Brooklyn in the 1960s and 70s and even into the 80s. So it got so it's
what did it
very diverse, but
yeah.
Bay Ridge wasn't too diverse, but now it's much more diverse.
Okay. Did you see any, or did you notice any sort of tension because you all were new to the community, or was it just a regular everyday thing?
No, it was fine. We you don't know me for years and years and years, but I'm socially awkward and a little bit rigid. But for the most part, we had a lot of friends. There was a lot of kids growing up. We did an awful lot of stuff, and we always had a good time. Growing up in Brooklyn is a lot different nowadays. Here we would get up in the morning, have our breakfast. If we went to school, we all walked to school together. Everybody on the block had, multiple children. All the children walked together. All the children played after school together. They played, they had to come in and do whatever their family rule was. So say, for instance, the family rule was you come home, like ours. We had to come home, have our snack, do our homework, and then we can go out and play. So, and change our clothes, because we had, I had my earlier education was in private Catholic school. And then when I went to high school, I went to the public high school.
Okay. And so what was